Psychology is social control. Psychology often functions as a barrier to prevent people from breaking out of social norms and mindsets, nudging them back to normalcy by prescribing treatment and therapy in response to certain behaviors or thoughts. Since its infancy in the 19th century, psychology has been used to neutralize those who were different, or were at least perceived to be. Not much has changed. Considering the widespread popularity of counseling, medication, and mental health awareness, things may have even gotten worse. Often, different refers to outer behaviors rather than inner nature. Someone who is treated differently, such as when belonging to a minority group or having a disability, will have their behavior written off as insane by those who ignore the contextual causes. Other people are different because they are bullied or ostracized, and the luckier ones throw diagnoses at them to prove that they would never be targeted themselves. So saying that there's something unique about the target is an attempt at self-protection by the bullies and onlookers. Unlike physical illness, psychological illness is subjective. Unless madness refers to actual misperception of reality, and even this accusation has its limitations, it is gaslighting and making value judgments. Who is to say what level of emotion is too much, and how is that calculated? Who decides what political or social values are normal or correct, and how to measure if someone embodies those thoroughly enough? Who determines how careful or mistrusting someone has to be before they're paranoid, and does life history and context mean nothing? It's not hard to see how such a concept can be used for social control. How much further is it before people who believe in small government or natural food are labeled paranoid or OCD? Will protesters be described as having anger issues, or will people who don't consent to taking certain medicine be said to have trust issues? Will those who become depressed because of the loss of strong communities and meaningful values be pushed to take antidepressant pills? Will people who resist the confiscation of their property under government redistribution or gun control be considered hoarders? Diagnosis as a tool to silence alternative voices is nothing new. In the 19th century, grieving women were sometimes taken to the asylum, as were women who were assaulted or those who protested or broke under gender discrimination and abuse. Black runaway slaves were diagnosed with drapetomania for wanting to escape. Various diagnoses and insults for Irish peasants abounded during the famine times. Schizophrenia was a common diagnosis for Black revolutionaries in the 1960s, and Vietnam veterans who came back affected by what they had seen and perhaps done were slapped with a label and thrown onto the streets. Whenever someone is given a psychiatric label for a social reason, you can bet there are issues of power, entitlement, and silencing going on.